The Backrooms. You've been here before. Level 10. The Bumper Crop. For a moment, we thought we had escaped the Backrooms. Survival difficulty. Class 1. Safe, secure, minimal entity count. The image displayed on screen is one of Level 10. Description. Level 10 is an expansive pasture of wheat and barley fields stretching endlessly in all directions, divided into plots by lines of trees and shrubbery. The climate of the level never appears to shift from an overcast leaden sky, with brief and infrequent spells of light rain and fog. The dreary atmosphere of level 10, coupled with its unchanging state of daylight, makes it somewhat difficult to keep track of time, with only the occasional gust of wind among the crops to break up the uniformity. The image displayed on screen shows a lake in level 10. Bodies of water are present throughout level 10 below one consistent elevation, which likely occurs due to the level's soil possessing slight hydrophobic properties, preventing the irrigation of water into the ground. The water from these pits has been deemed safe for human consumption, although its taste has been reported to have an earthly undertone. Upon inspection, it appears to be free of algae and other organisms, only containing microbes and types of benign fungi. The water is believed to be highly oxygenated, which likely contributes to its clear, seemingly uncontaminated appearance. Areas surrounding these lakes often have a less cultivated appearance, including patches of dirt and grass. A diverse range of structures may be found intermittently in level 10, such as small wooden sheds and outbuildings, as well as larger barns and stables. These structures appear to be largely empty on the inside, aside from often housing certain useful resources, namely wood and nails. These resources, along with the structural elements of the buildings themselves, may be of interest for various purposes, such as construction. While the potential for establishing permanent settlements in level 10 appears promising, further analysis is needed before a final decision can be reached. Back home, I had a game I always used to play on my own. I would lay out an apple core or something like that on my doorstep, and would come back and watch it for hours on end each day until it was completely unrecognizable. Often their shape would stain the concrete step, and so, over the years, it became browned with those shapes. I remembered looking at that and thinking that it was crazy that I could have such an effect on something as strong as concrete. I felt like the ruler of the world. The image displayed on screen shows a barn on level 10. The lines of shrubbery that separate the pastures of level 10 into plots are of varying species and do not appear to have any unusual properties, aside from the fact that they do not seem to outgrow one another. Rather, they consistently remain at the same height. The trees, in particular, are of average hardness and can be used as a source of wood, although it has been proven more practical to obtain wood from the empty structures throughout the level. Further investigation of the plants may yield additional insights into their potential uses and characteristics, as well as insights into the general ecology of level 10. Dirt paths are often present throughout level 10, distinguished by two strips of tire tracks separated by a strip of grass, suggesting that the paths are frequently used by vehicles such as cars or tractors. However, despite this evidence of regular usage, no such vehicles have ever been observed on level 10. These dirt tracks do not appear to regrow, and, in addition, attempts to cultivate plants on these roads have failed, with sown seeds failing to germinate. Additionally, it has been observed that following these roads for a prolonged distance can often lead one to level 11. When me, my mum, my dad, and my dog first clipped into level 1 while out on a picnic, we were shocked. We had no idea what to do, but my mum, God bless her, kept it together and let us out. Having lived on our own wee farm all our lives, all we wanted was a quiet place to stay. The closest we had gotten was level 4, but the dog kept clawing at the windows. We immediately regretted moving further onwards, going through levels 5, 6, and 8, which we hated. But once we got to level 10, we had a feeling that it was all worth it. The image displayed on screen shows the worms of level 10. Entities. There are very few unique entities in level 10, except for the small worm-like entities that inhabit the soil beneath the surface. These worms have been observed through the use of shovels to dig into the soil. which is only 1 meter deep before giving way to the massive worms writhing in the darkness below. It is currently unknown how far down the worms extend or where they originate, and further exploration beneath the 1 meter depth has been deemed infeasible due to logistic and safety concerns. It is advised to proceed with caution if excavating the soil in level 10, as it has been observed that digging a hole deeper than 1 meter may result in the rapid emergence of worms from the soil. This can present several hazards, including the potential for slipping or falling injuries, damage to clothing, and even the risk of physical harm from the worms attempting to burrow into the skin. If one wishes to collect them for any purpose, it is recommended to limit excavation to small holes rather than deep trenches to minimize risk. I'll never forget the smell of wheat grain as we laid ourselves down on the wet soil floor. I saw worms come up, but I didn't pay them any mind. I was glad to finally be out of the caves and to be somewhere familiar enough to me. Mom and Dad found a barn. Somebody might have built it, or it could have just been there, but it was our new home. It really felt like everything was going to be alright. Bases, communities, and outposts. As the level has mainly served as a transitionary location for the Meg, level 10 has no dedicated outposts within it. If a team is to stay in the level, they are to do so for a short time in one of its naturally occurring structures, such as a barn. The creation of an outpost within level 10 has ultimately been deemed a waste of resources due to the ease of access to level 11. Recently, concerns about the nutritional value of the wheat in level 10 have led to the Meg halting its harvest from the level, which used to be carried out regularly. The wheat appears to be safe to consume, and thus its flour may be used as a thickener in recipes, but grain harvesting outposts on other levels have been deemed more beneficial to the health of wanderers overall. A few days into living in the level, Mom had installed a new wooden doorstep. I think that was really impressive, because she had been complaining about feeling weak. I decided I would play my little watching things decompose game, so I grabbed off a piece of wheat and placed it down to watch it rot. I was quite unsettled to see that it never decomposed one bit. I saw one of the worms come up, start eating it, and then turn right around. It was all that any of us had eaten. Entrances and exits. Entrances. Walkways in level 9 that lead to grass fields may lead to this level. In certain streets on level 11, you can find a back road that leads to level 10. Exits. Finding a road and following it for a prolonged period may eventually lead one to level 11. Finding a patch of canola among the wheat and entering it will lead one to level 184. Swimming into a lake can lead one to a number of aquatic levels. Research into which levels exactly are accessible is underway. After that, something happened to my mom and dad one night when I was asleep. They were making porridge. I woke up to the smoke of burnt porridge, and my mom and dad were on the ground. I didn't think twice about getting out of there. I took the dog and went straight for the lake. From then on, I knew that life in the backrooms would be even more complicated than I thought.